Hey, Rachel Brenke from TheLawTog. I am the head attorney over here at the go-to legal resource for photographers. You're sitting here because you're a newborn photographer, hopefully, or you just want to learn a little bit about newborn photography. Hate to disappoint you, we're not going to be learning taco pose or how to get them to sleep or shush them and love them while they're super cute. I have 5 of my own, totally get it. I want to talk to you about the really unfun stuff of the legal documents that you need to have within the relationship with your clients, the legal client timeline. What's really good about the way I'm going to present this is that it is in chronological and priority order of the documents you need to have. I'm going to tell you exactly what they do, the benefits, my recommendations, and some best practices so you guys can implement these into your newborn photography business so that you can stay protected and offer customer service so you can have a successful business. The very first 2 documents we're going to talk about are the newborn photography contract and a model release. These are pretty much non-negotiables. Well, the model release is a little bit, like you'll see here in a minute, but the photography contract, that main booking photography contract, the newborn contract, is a non-negotiable. You should never photograph without a contract. You can photograph without a model release, as you're going to see in a little bit, because that just gives you permission for use in marketing. It doesn't really have any bearing on your actual photography, but this main contract does, because it creates a legal relationship between you, the photographer, and the client. It's going to have things like retainer or deposit, payments, cancellations, rescheduling, late arrivals, who can be in attendance, disposition of the baby, completion schedule, artistic rights, yada, 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 and a whole bunch of legal miscellany. If you guys want to see more of what's included in the document that I have, the newborn photography contract, I have that for you. But let's just talk about a little bit more of the operation of this document. Like I said, it's going to be the document that creates the legal relationship between you and the client. This is a document that should be signed before you ever photograph the baby at all, before they even go on your schedule or your calendar or anything. This gets you guys legally created together. The other benefits of having the contract is that it also sets the expectations. It tells the client what you're going to do and what you're responsible for, and it tells them what they're responsible for to you as well. And lastly, it also provides a legal structure and formation to the relationship. It's going to provide some of this support so that if you ever have an issue, you have things such as what law governs the contract. Is this the entire document? Does it supersede another or not? What if we make oral adjustments to it? What if there is a dispute? How do we resolve it? What court? Or is it court or is it arbitration or negotiation? That's what all that legal miscellany that I've taken care of for you guys is going to identify and go ahead and get that off your plate. Hopefully you don't need to use it, but it's there should there ever be an issue. So the newborn contract, non-negotiable, get that signed by the parent or legal guardian of the newborn in the photographs so that you are able to get created and start photographing. The second document that is often paired with that main contract, but I break it out for reasons I'm going to share here in a little bit. The second document is the model release. It can be just a general one or it can be limited. And the model release does 2 things. First, it is the client giving you, the photographer, permission of the client's face in your marketing. Remember, this has no bearing on the copyright ownership of the images. You still retain the ownership of the images, but the client still retains control over the publicity rights and the use of their face. So point number 1 of the model release, what it should do is give permission from, again, the client to the photographer, which is them exercising their publicity rights, but it's giving you permission to use their face in marketing. The second thing that your model release should have, and I hope that it does, not every lawyer includes this, and if you self-drafted it, you probably didn't think about this, but it also does something that can keep you from having to pay your clients money later on. It will identify the fact that compensation claims cannot be sought after later by the client. They're waiving compensation claims for the use of their publicity rights or their images in marketing. So that's the 2 main things that the model release does for you. Now, I understand that sometimes there are clients who are a little bit more sensitive and private, or maybe they're in an occupation that doesn't allow them to have an online presence or a public presence. This is why I recommend for the model release to be broken out. And this is also why I have a general model release, which is the regular blanket one, or a limited model release that allows you to narrow it down or even allows you just to waive the model release in general. I break the 2 documents out for multiple reasons. One, like I just mentioned, it allows you just to easily remove the model release should you have a client who doesn't want to sign one. But it also is a legal best practice, so that if one ever becomes invalidated, then you have the other one still in play. But if they were together and it gets thrown out, the whole thing is thrown out, and we don't want to have that happen. So newborn contract and model release are the two core priority basic documents that you need to have. Really important priority. Checkbox, checkbox, get that done. So we're trucking along, we have this session, we're snuggling with a little newborn, we're snorting their head because their smell is like little baby cocaine. I just love the smell of little newborns, right? And you have the session, everything is great, you have the sales session. Well, now it's time to deliver products. And we have two different documents for this. One is a print release and one is a product delivery agreement. The print release is you, the photographer, conveying, transferring, selling, licensing, whatever you want to call it. It is giving the client permission to reproduce the digital files that you have sold. You get to outline in this print release in the capacity and the scope of the license that they're going to have for this personal portrait license and reproduction of the digital images. The other document is the product delivery agreement. This is actually at the very end of the relationship when you're going to deliver the products. It is the client agreeing that you have fulfilled all your responsibilities, that they're inspected, the albums, the canvases, the whole 9 yards of what they bought from you, that it's all in good condition, they accept it, they love it, everything is good, and this will hopefully help prevent any potential for clients coming back and stating, oh no, the canvas was damaged when probably you knew that it wasn't, but maybe after you had knocked on the door and delivered it, walked away, they closed the door and dropped it on their way back to the living room. Then they're trying to claim against you that they dented it, which is unfortunate, but it does happen. I'm not saying all clients are like this, but the goal with having the product delivery agreement is to help ward off in situations like that. Again, please always make sure you're focusing on customer service. We still want to try to serve our customers the best way possible, but we have these contracts and these legal documents in place to help protect us should we need it, especially if we have any clients trying to take advantage. Another document that kind of fits into this legal client timeline a little bit is the permission to sell to a third party. Technically, you are only in a relationship with the parents or the legal guardian of the newborn that you're photographing, okay? And so this permission to sell to a third party is them giving you permission for you to sell the files to maybe the aunts, the uncles, great aunt Sally in Seattle, the grandmother, the siblings, and this is a good little way for you guys to make a little bit extra money. It helps them to feel a little bit more comfortable and identify who can be sold to. It is you serving the client at that point and you also getting sales out of the process. So again, that's newborn contract, general and limited model releases, the print release, product delivery agreement, and then having this permission to sell to a third party so you can sell to family, friends, prints, and products as well. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to submit through the contact form. Myself or my team are more than happy to help you. I understand that this is overwhelming and this is scary. Just please make sure that you do what you can to get protected, because remember, you never have an issue till you have an issue.